Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared, and today, due to the overwhelming support that I got from when we did Zack Snyder's Justice League Oscar announcement, I'm going to cover one of the storylines that has, in my mind, been very influential, possibly the most influential comic book in the history of Batman. We're covering The Dark Knight Returns, one of the best storylines of all time, especially concerning Batman. Now, here's the thing. I'm not necessarily going to put the panels on the screen like I normally do, because this book at times has not safe for work images in here. So I don't want to risk the video game taken down or something like that. So in the interest of that, I'm going to just flip through my book here and then describe you guys what I see. So this book was created by Frank Miller. He's one of the greatest comic book writers of all time. And his idea was he wanted to update and modernize the Batman, because remember, around the time that this was coming out, the Batman that we had was the Adam West Batman. And as we know, the Adam West Batman was not the best version of Batman, particularly for particularly for acting realistically, if you will. I'm gonna say it that way, but it'll make sense in a second. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to make Batman more serious, because honestly, at the end of Adam West Batman was a little bit of a joke. So DC hired him and said, okay, Frank, do what you do best, write this book. So what he did is he made a really gritty Batman story. And now in this storyline, it takes place in the future. I believe it's on a different Earth, an alternate reality, where Batman's retired for many, many, many years, to the point where Batman's an old man. You open up and there's a race car race. And by the way, they did an animated movie of this, which is one of the most accurate adaptations from comic book to animated movie of all time. And by the way, this was the chief book that was at least a major source of inspiration for Batman versus Superman. And then I'm going to do a video defending Batman versus Superman at some point. But anyway, so we start off with The Dark Knight Returns. We have the race car race. There's a wreck, and Batman, and essentially Batman crashes the car, but he survives. Then we have this big depiction of the media. What I love about this book is that it emphasizes the role the media plays in the society. Really, what Frank Miller did when he wrote this book is he's using these characters to critique modern society. And there was some talking about we haven't seen Batman in many, many, many decades, in 10 years. So Batman recently retired, and I believe that was somewhat inspired by Robin's death in Dark Knight Returns: The Last Crusade, because Batman was going to retire. Jason Todd thought Batman didn't respect him, and so he retired. So then we have Jim Gordon. He's walking, or he first has drinks with Batman. They reflect on their partnership. And then it was kind of funny is that they bring about how Bruce Wayne, whenever he went to formal events and they would see him drinking, because he's Batman, he can't afford to get drunk, he would just drink ginger ale. That's how he always avoided it. So then Gordon's walking, and then we see him actually, is this Gordon? No, I think this is Bruce. So Bruce is walking, and then we hear in his monologue, he's talking about how the city has pretty much gone to hell. In fact, he's almost jumped by two members of the Mutant Gang. Now, the Mutant Gang are this group of hoodlums that pretty much control Gotham. In reality, Gotham's a failed state, if you will. Continuing on, we have a Batman reflecting on the murder of his parents, because he's in a similar situation. Then we see in the intensive care treatment ward of Arkham Home for the Emotionally Troubled, we see Harvey Dent is finally escaping the Two-Face persona. They're taking the bandages off. They have one of the best plastic surgeons recreate Harvey Dent's face. And then we have Harvey Dent saying, listen, I'd like to make up for my time as Two-Face. I've kind of, for lack of a better term, messed the place up. So Harvey endeavors to make the world a better place. And then we have Dr. Bartholomew Wolper. He'll be important later in the storyline. He's the mental psychologist that basically argues against the Batman in the media a lot. Now, then Bruce is watching the TV. Actually, no, Bruce is having a nightmare, and then he remembers when he was chasing a rabbit with his parents back in the day, and he fell into like a cave, and then he found the bats. This kind of reflected in Christopher Nolan's Batman movie, and to a certain extent, BVS, when Bruce falls into that, like, he falls into that, what is it? That cave. And then Bruce goes into the Batcave. Then we see Alfred still alive. And then we see Harvey Dent apparently has not kept to his promise, because immediately, as soon as he's let out, he goes on a criminal rampage, which then indicates to Bruce he's not really having that big of an effect on Gotham, particularly now that he's retired. So then we have in one of my opinions, one of the best parts of the book. Bruce is sitting in an armchair watching TV in the same room where he decided to become Batman. And in his head, he's replaying the death of his parents. Remember, he's always blamed himself for the deaths of his parents. We see the pearls, just like in BVS, the pearls falling. And then we see a bat come crashing through the window. And this is reflexive of in the first appearance of Batman. I believe when they finally gave his origin, it was like he was sitting around unsure what to do, because he tried like the whole ski mask thing and it didn't work out. So he said, I have to strike fear into people. All right, Father, I shall become a bat. So then in Gotham City, random crimes are happening. Then all of a sudden, these criminals are like torn apart. Everyone's like, what? Is that who I think it is? You are in for a show tonight, son. Yes, that's it. Dark Knight Returns. That's what that's from. And ironically, the movie called The Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Rises, because I was very clearly inspired by this book. At least the first half. So next, we have this cabbie that's about to hurt this girl. And then Batman jumps down and tears the dude apart. Then we have Carrie Kelly and her friend. Carrie Kelly is a very important character in this universe. She'll be established later on. They walk into this arcade, and then they're almost jumped by the mutant gang, one of the mutants raises up his arm, and he gets Batarang stuck in it. And I'm like, this is so boss. And Batman shows up and just starts going to town. Then we have the media, again, starting to report that, oh my gosh, Batman's back, or like a bat-like creature. So this is very much mirroring all the depictions we have of the first time Batman puts on the suit and actually becomes Batman. There's always like these people were attacked by a giant bat creature. So I really like how Miller, in depicting Batman's return, in other words, his return to the role of Batman, he's also kind of mirroring the first appearance of Batman. And I really like how he draws those parallels. That's why I really love this writer. I have all of his books, so we may cover the entire Dark Knight universe. And then people are like, we know whose calling card this is. And then we get the first appearance of the dope old blue Batman suit. It'll change later, but this is the suit that was like classic at the time. So this was more or less the bat suit that he was wearing at the time of this book's publication, the blue cape and the blue and gray. And honestly, I like the blue and gray a lot for Batman. It looks really, really, I was almost saying distinguished, but that's not what I would describe as Batman. It's very, for me, it's unexpected, because you wouldn't expect a bright blue guy to be like a ninja, but I really like that, because it emphasizes, and this is me probably reading too much into the blue, but the fact that it's so bright, and what comes to my mind is the idea, and here's the suit again, so See how bright blue it is. It's a little more bright because of the camera, but still. But the point is that I think that in a way, the way I could justify this if I were Batman is I'm that confident in my ninja abilities and my abilities to strike fear into people. So I am going to wear this suit in this color. So Batman it does the work for these cops and takes down this cop car, not cop car, this criminal car, I guess. Criminals going to a construction site. Then we get pretty much a sort of recreation of the warehouse scene from Batman versus Superman, which was one of the, like BVS or not, that was one of the greatest Batman moments ever. And that solidified to me that I love this version of Batman so much. And then we get the awesome scene. Actually, the even more awesome scene comes later. And then Batman's talking to the cops, and he goes, he holds up the coin, the Two-Face coin, and goes, well, I guess we know who's in charge, who this happened to. I mean, who these guys belong to. I'm just going to grab a drink real quick. Continuing on, we get the first depiction of like a debate going on TV of whether or not the Batman's like a criminal himself because he's a vigilante or if he's actually trying to help people. It's kind of cool. The person arguing on the side of superheroes is Lana Lang. Yes, the Lana Lang who grew up with Superman, and he shows up in this book very famously. Then we have this individual who appears clown-like. I'm gonna draw this out just so I can really like annoy you guys. But he seems clown-like. Then all of a sudden, when he sees the Batman, he starts smiling again. He goes, Batman. And he goes, darling. When I read the Joker's lines, I'm actually going to try and do a Joker voice. We'll see if I actually sound good. So then we have the debate about Batman versus basically the people. Because what's important to understand is that in this universe, there are no superheroes. What I mean by that is that the superheroes have been forced into retirement because we had this parent group of moms that complained that the Justice League were not good role models for the kids, I guess, because they're I guess vigilantes. We have the TV debate, which is basically Batman versus the world. I explained that the Justice League basically retired. And then we have Gordon is being like really actually Gordon's talking to the criminal that Batman beat up, and the criminal's like, you can't my client has rights. You have to respect his rights. He can't be beaten up by this creature, by Batman. And he's like, okay, you're right. He goes free. And then the lawyer's like, wait, you can't let him go. He could get killed. And then Jim Gordon's basically like, not my problem. And he calls Batman, and then he's like, and then he gives him information on the next criminal. And then we see the Jokers on TV, not the Joker, the mutant gangs on TV threatening Gotham. What else is new? And then we also see, okay, so the mutants of the Two-Face gang kidnapped. Yes, they kidnapped the heiress of this. I think the heiress is that at this part. I'm checking real quick. Oh no, that's later. So the gang kidnapped. I believe the gang is it the kidnap? No, it was just okay. So then that same criminal goes to his apartment and is found by Batman, who beats him up and basically goes, "Okay, you're gonna bleed out, but if you give me this information, I can get you to a hospital real fast. So you can either live or die. Either one's fine with me. Just make a choice." Obviously, the dude gives him the information. Then we see Carrie Kelly looking up, and she sees the bat signal. And then what's interesting is that what's also sort of established in this book and in the movie is that when the bat signal's out, it's not just for Batman to know he's needed. It's for the criminals to know he's out there, guys. Don't do it. Then Batman and Jim Gordon have this conversation about Two-Face. And then we have another debate between Warpole and, I mean, not really a debate, but he's like giving his expert medical opinion on basically CNN. The Joker's talking to one of his henchmen, and he goes, "Okay, so I'm going to need these bombs and stuff." The Joker's basically plotting, and then Batman shows up with a sniper rifle, and and it turns out so Two-Face is launching an attack on this building. Batman shows up and basically saves everyone because Two-Face landed on a helicopter with a bomb in it, and he was going to blow it. Then Batman showed up and disarmed the bomb, and then took out the helicopter, but not before getting shot in the chest. Because actually, what's kind of interesting, they established here that there's an armor plate in the bat, and that's why he put a bat signal there, because he figured that's where the criminals are going to aim first. So he figured, let me draw their attention here and put like a lot of body armor here. And then Batman recovers from his fall, swings around, grabs Harvey, takes him down. And then what's kind of interesting is like, Harvey had basically, in his psychosis, damaged the other side of his face, so he was fully like, he's basically one face now, I guess. And then Batman goes, "I see a reflection of me." Then he flies out. That ends book 1. There are 3 books, I believe, in Dark Knight Returns. I hope you guys are enjoying the storyline so far, because I certainly am. This is one of my favorite Batman stories of all time. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this for the first time. Not for this episode. I had read it earlier, but I really liked it. So anyway, then Jim Gordon is walking. It was kind of funny. This is really this is going to be this is a really funny part of the story, and I believe. Wait, is this? We're going to finish up. Oh no! Something really funny happens that ends up with the media, I believe. So, Gordon is walking home, and then he's attacked by a mutant member. That doesn't help. Then Batman is on the TV. By on the TV, I mean the media is portraying him and like blasting him because he's a vigilante. Then we see Carrie Kelly putting on her Robin outfit. Yes, she becomes Robin in this universe. Then we see the mutants threaten, and then we see that the mutants have kidnapped this kid. This is another BVS moment. So I love this. But Batman just knocks on the door. They open it, and he just pulls the dude through. And then he deploys a bat, like an actual bat. It disorients one of the gunners, and the machine gunner shoots his own teammate. Batman breaks through the window, and then he grabs the dude with the M60 machine gun and aims it at the criminal holding the hostage. And then the hostage goes, and tell me this sounds familiar if you saw BVS. Back off, man, I'll kill the kid. Believe me, I'll do it. And Batman goes, I believe you, and then pulls the trigger. Yes, this Batman kills people. And we have Warple again talking about how so the whole idea, and this is like, I believe, a debate that's going on in comic books too. Warple's arguing that the existence of Batman inspires these villains like a Two-Face or Joker or Mad Hatter, if you will, to come up, because actually, to quote Vision from Civil War, which is actually really prescient to this book, Vision goes, power requires response, or something like that. He goes like, people feel the need to challenge power. So that's pretty much what he's kind of saying there. Then we have more debate. Then I love this scene. So Batman kidnapped one of the mutants. The mutant goes, okay, I'll tell you what you want, but you gotta let me go, please. No cops, man. I walk. He goes, I don't understand. And then Batman goes, I'm gonna do a Batman voice. You ready? I don't think you. Hang on. I don't think you. I'm trying to read this right. I don't think you understand the situation. You're not in a position to negotiate. Let me show you. So Batman was covering the dude's eyes. He removes his hand, and he's hanging the dude off a gargoyle. And he's like, okay, tell me what I want to know, or I'm going to drop you. And then this Batman just, I don't think he drops him. And then what happens is Carrie Kelly shows up, and then we see Batman cradling a general, draped in the American flag, because apparently this general had killed himself. Then, apparent suicide. Relatives say Briggs was violently depressed, and since the insurance company refused to sponsor over a treatment that may have saved his wife's life. Okay, there you go. And then we get, okay, this is a good moment. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite moments. So Jim Gordon is talking to, I believe, the outgoing mayor, because remember, actually, is that, yeah. And not for commissioner, you want, but not anymore. So let me see. The heat's a new quarter. Hold on, relax. So actually, the mayor is talking to his cabin. They're talking about Gordon's retiring and all that stuff. Then we cut to Batman, and he's going after the mutant gang. And I'm gonna do the voices. All right, I'll be Alfred this part. Master Bruce, and then Batman goes, "Who else, Alfred?" Of course, it's just that the signal is coming from inside the. That's right, Alfred. I'm taking her out. And then Batman goes, and Batman's monologue. I love this monologue. He goes, "I hit the engine." She responds like it's yesterday. It is yesterday. So, but I love. So Batman goes, "The dump stretches out of sight from the far bank of the West River. I'm told it ends somewhere before the farmlands. It smells of rot and rust. It's a breeding ground for insects and rodents. I cut the engine and listened to one of the rodents." And then this is the mutant gang leader trying to rile up his troops. Now I'm actually good. I'll do the voice here too. "They call us a gang. They call us a mob. They think we're just noisy kids. Only when they die by our hands will and see their women, and skip that word, will they know we have the strength, we had the will, and now we have the guns. Gotham City belongs to the mutants." And he's about to, it was so great to like bring me the head of Jim Gordon. And then boom, because Batman shows up in a tank. This is the Dark Knight Returns Batmobile right there, the tank. And we saw a little bit of this in Zack Snyder's Justice League as the camera pans away. And then Batman's sitting on the tank. And I'm like, okay, Zack, as if we needed any more indication that this is the art that you're inspired by Dark Knight Returns. And then Batman goes, "The Batmobile. That's what you called it, Dick. Kind of a name a kid would come up with. They don't even wait for the order. Young people these days, no respect for history." Because talk about is that they shoot him, they shoot the tank, but it's like pinging off the hull. Because I modified her during some nasty riots 15 years ago. The only thing I know of that can cut through her hide isn't from this planet, i.e., Superman. The mutants use hand grenades. They use rocket launchers. Something bounces off the hull that must have come from a bazooka. They do each other a lot of damage. So in other words, like a dude's firing an RPG at the bat tank, it just bounces off and kills some other people. Then Batman's like wrecking shop. Then the mutant leader challenges Batman. And then Bruce is like, actually Alfred goes, "Master Bruce, you've shut down the weapons." And then Batman goes, "Can't have a back door, Alfred. Might be tempted to use it." "Sir, you can't be serious. Sir, he'll kill you." And then Batman has to vanquish the mutant leader. He shows up and fights the mutant leader. And then because he's still old and he's not fighting smart, Batman honestly gets beaten up by the mutant leader. And it's only the intervention of Carrie Kelly's Robin that he's able to escape. Carrie Kelly puts him in the Batmobile, and they drive off. And then we get the first tease of what's to come. In the White House, we have at the time this was Ronald Reagan, and he's basically telling Superman, "Listen, son," I'm not going to do a Ronald Reagan impression. I'm not that good. He basically goes, "Listen, I don't want to tell you what to do, but we kind of want." So he goes, was this him talking about Batmobile, Batman? Sorry, I can. Okay, so Reagan basically wants Superman to go rein in Batman because he's causing a political incident. So anyway, the Batmobile arrives back at the Batcave. Bruce takes off the blue suit and just goes to heal. the same time, the media is having their usual stuff, and the mutants are saying quite a few expletives, and then we get. I'm continuing on this storyline. We get crime happening. People are recreating Batman being shot or something like that. The mutant leader's in prison, and he actually. I thought, where was this? Oh yeah, the mutant leader. So the mayor goes in to talk to the mutant leader, basically to kind of humanize him and try to negotiate with him. And the mutant leader kills the mayor. So that was really stupid. And then we have Batman is suiting up, but this time in the BVS suit. So it's the gray and black, and it has like the massive bat. It's that symbol right there. I love this sweatshirt so much. So then we have the Carrie Kelly infiltrating the. Carrie Kelly is officially recruited as Robin, and he basically tells her, "Okay, I want you to go infiltrate the mutants and tell them to come to this location." So Bruce does two things. So what he's trying to do is he has Carrie Kelly divert the mutants into this basically mud hole, and then he allows the mutant leader to escape. And then the mutant leader gets tackled by Batman. But what Batman did this time is he makes him fight in a tar pit. And that way the mutant leader is severely, like, I don't want to say inundated. I'm trying to think of the right word here. I'm a political science major. I should know this. But it's like he's impeded. That's the word. He's impeded by the mud. And they basically have this massive mud fight. And Batman goes, "This isn't a mud hole. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon." And then he just takes out the mutant leader. And now the mutants become the I believe it's called the Sons of Batman. So in other words, Batman now leads a gang. This is so boss. And Batman uses it as a chance to like establish security in Gotham City. And now that ends part 2. I believe we're on the last part. Hope you guys are very much enjoying the storyline. I certainly am. So then, okay, and the part I'm on in a book is exactly the reason why I didn't want to put it on the screen. We have this. We have someone being robbed by some people that look like Nazis, but one of them is topless and has swastikas on her you-know-whats. I'm not going to put that on there because I certainly don't want to get taken down. And then Batman dressed as an old lady shows up and just tears them apart. And then they're still talking about all the different. It's interspersed with like Ronald Reagan holding up the American flag while the Russians invade this island. I believe it's called Maltese. And we have Batman and Robin fighting the gang. And then hear a rumble. Then Superman shows up and basically goes to Bruce, "Okay, we have to talk." And then Batman goes, "I'm busy. You've cost me hours. Tomorrow morning, my place. Stay out of my way until then." Superman takes off. And so basically what this is Superman trying to appeal to Batman, saying, "Bruce, come on, calm down." And Batman and Robin go back to work. And then the Joker, so we also have these weird doll things that explode. I still don't understand it. Then we have Superman just hanging out, looking like the American dream. He's talking about, and he's basically saying, "Hey, listen, man. Okay, you know what? I'm going to read it. You're not a young man anymore, Bruce. Maybe if you'd learn to slow down, find your niche, but times have changed, and well, it's not healthy. You'll burn yourself up. I know. You look better than you have in years, but you're going to make me come right out and say it, aren't you?" And Batman's like, "Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do, Clark. These aren't the old days, Bruce. The world's got no room for. It's like this, Bruce. Sooner or later, someone's going to order me to bring you in. Somebody with authority. When that happens, Clark, may the best man win." And then Superman is brought in by the government to go take out some Soviets, because Superman in this universe is a tool of the government. And then so now the Joker is going to be on TV because somehow he's convinced Warple that, hey, I'm good. I'm cured, 100% cured. And it plays out kind of like the Joker scene, the scene Joker goes on TV. At the same time, Joker has his inmates, his gang members, which are two really weird looking dolls, fly out into the area and drop Joker toxin everywhere. At the same time, Batman is fighting the cops because the new police commissioner, Yindel, makes it her mission to take out Batman. I believe she was voiced by Shira Hall in the animated show. Batman deploys smoke bombs and tactically subdues the cops. He doesn't kill them. And then the Joker comes out, and Batman is still fighting cops. And then Joker actually ends up killing people. And then Robin comes in the Batcopter and helps Batman escape, while Superman is fighting Soviet tanks. At the same time, so basically the Joker escaped. It killed people and escaped. That's the whole story. At the same time, also, you have Batman is doing recon on this individual that committed suicide because a prostitute told him to. And then again, Superman's fighting the Soviets. Batman goes to the pimp, and it's actually Selina Kyle dressed as Wonder Woman. And then she goes, Bruce, he's worse than ever. Basically, the Joker. And then the cops show up because they know he's going there. And then Batman and Robin escape in a bat like glider, I guess that's what it's called. They escape, and then this is interspersed with again Superman taking out the Soviet army. He's actually going, we almost threw a party when you retired, but then the PBI was in it, and things were getting out of hand. The parents group, and there was that trouble with Oliver. Do you remember why you retired, Bruce? No, just look at you. You'd do it again, and like a murderer, you'd cover it up again. Nothing matters to you except your holy war. They were considering their options, and you were probably still laughing when they came to terms. They gave them my obedience and my invisibility. They gave me a license and let us live. No, I don't like it, but I get to save lives and the media stays quiet. But now the storm is growing again. They'll hunt us down again because of you. Then we have at the carnival, the Joker is messing with some kids. Batman shows up, engages the Joker in hand-to-hand combat while Robin takes out the Joker's gangs. He throws a batarang, which gets embedded in Joker's eye. They have a pursuit through the Hall of Mirrors, and Batman just hauls after him. Then Batman goes into this cave where, okay, this is really crazy, where they're fighting, Joker stabbing Batman, and then Batman actually snaps the Joker's neck. So, and now what's interesting is the Joker's like, you still couldn't kill me, could you? Because it didn't kill him. So what the Joker does, he's like, don't worry, you didn't have the nerve, but I do. And he snaps his own neck, but he doesn't like bang it against a rock or something like that. He actually twists his neck somehow and it snaps, and then he kills himself. Actually, one more book. We're on book 4. This is the one. So the Joker's dead, and the body self-immolates because Batman set a trap. Then he escapes in the Batcopter with Robin, except he's very injured. So in the Batcave, Robin and Alfred are trying to help Bruce heal. Superman is again being used as a tool of the state. And Superman proceeds to take out a nuke, which blows up. And the thing is that it EMPs like entire eastern seaboard, which eventually means that guess what? The criminals are getting out. Like planes are crashing. There's chaos in the streets. And then Batman shows up and goes, listen, we have to. He takes his gang and he goes, first off, we're not using guns. Second off, we're here to restore order, not create more chaos. Drinking again. Then we get this dope image of Batman and his gang riding on horses. It's so cool. And then Yandel has an opportunity to take out Batman, and she doesn't because she realizes he's too big and he's too accepting. He's too accepted by the people that she'll get crucified. The thing is that she actually had a conversation with Gordon previously that I glossed over, where she basically asked Gordon, "How could you work with Batman? You're a cop." And he goes, "Listen, World War II." He tells a story about World War II and about how like FDR knew had information that Pearl Harbor was going to happen, but he let it happen probably because it was like necessary or something like that. And at the same time, we see Superman is super emaciated because of the nuclear winter. Then what he does is he absorbs this solar radiation from plants and is able to recover. Then we have the media talking about actually we have random people on the street being interviewed and talking about the chaos in the streets. Then we have the image of Batman riding a freaking horse. I'm holding up to the camera now for all you audio listeners. And then we have Superman finally being brought in by the government saying, you got to take Batman down. At the same time, Batman gets a visit from one Oliver Queen. And they talk about what Superman did. Because it turned out Superman tore off Oliver's arm because he wouldn't retire. Which it's really like, wow. And then Superman basically heat visions assigned where, and then Batman looks up and goes, crime alley. Then Batman puts on the Dark Knight Returns suit and goes to fight Batman, and they have a brawl. And Batman basically not impressed Superman. And basically what he says, this is a fantastic thing. So what he does is first he fights Clark, and then when it looks like he's going to lose, he has Oliver shoot a kryptonite arrow that basically explodes in kryptonite gas, just like in the movie Batman versus Superman. And Batman goes, I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. And then his heart gives out. And at the same time, Wayne Manor explodes. This was a way of Batman sort of burying himself and becoming more covert. Then also Alfred dies as well. Then at the funeral, Batman, it's revealed that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and Superman's feeling very like sad that Batman got killed because of his friend, and then even Catwoman blames him, and then we find, and the Superman was walking away. First, he sees a woman fully covered, and it's Carrie Kelly, and then all of a sudden, Superman hears the heartbeat, and then he just goes because he's like, okay, Bruce is fine. And then we get Oliver Queen and the Batmen, I guess, at the underneath, like in the Gotham tunnel. Sorry, I don't know why I was having trouble speaking. And then this is basically Batman starting an underground war. That's Dark Knight Returns. Hope you guys enjoyed that storyline. It's very much a prescient commentary on modern society, and that the media it dictates our perception of things. That's why the superheroes retired, because the media turned the public opinion against them. You also have liberalism versus conservatism in the face of Superman versus Batman. It was really nuts how much he got away with in this book. And really, what's interesting is that if this book had not come out, you wouldn't have the version of Batman with like Michael Keaton that everyone loved, the dark and gritty Batman. Batman would still be a joke. In fact, most comic books would be a joke, because this was coming at a time, this exploded the whole dark and gritty superhero comic market. This is where we have after this comes the death of Superman and thank God not the rape of Wonder Woman. Jeez, can't believe DC actually thought of that. But anyway, this is where we get first off, this is majorly the inspiration for Batman versus Superman. That we have that media fight, except this time it's directed against Superman and not Batman. And then we have that ideological clash of Batman versus Superman. And then at the end of this one, actually, at the end of the movie, we get more of a team up between Batman and Superman. We get a lot of the lines from Batman versus Superman from Dark Knight Returns, like where Bruce goes, "We're criminals. We've always been criminals." So Batman even admits that he's breaking the law by being Batman. And let's see, what else is really noteworthy about this book is that actually it sets up an entire alternate reality, because for all of the DC books written by Frank Miller are in their own continuity, including Batman Spawn. So right now what I have is Dark Knight Returns, I have Batman Year One, All-Star Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade, Dark Knight Strikes Again, Dark Knight Master Race, and Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. It's majorly about Superman and Wonder Woman's kid. Oh yeah, in this universe, Superman and Wonder Woman are a couple, so yeah. But beyond that, it's like one of the most quintessential comic books ever. And if I wanted to give someone a comic book to understand the character of Batman, it would be this one right here, because this gets on to really a lot of the core of who Batman is, and that he will like, in that he is like, I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this, in that he will fight whoever he needs to get the job done. He will fight even Superman. He will destroy Superman because he prepped more. Let's not forget about that. He even has a rematch in Dark Knight Strikes Again, and he still wins. He beats Superman with kryptonite gloves. So there you go. And it really gets onto the fact of Batman's motivations, because ultimately, even in the dream, he's reflexive about. In the beginning of the book, he walks down when he's almost jumped by those criminals, by those mutant gang members. He is relatively in the same location that his parents were killed. Then he has that nightmare. Then he sees the bat come in. So really, this was both an origin and not an origin for Batman, and showing why Batman became Batman. In other words, it's to protect people and make sure that what happened to him is not going to happen to anyone else. And it shows like actually he gets pushback from the media and the administration, but he still keeps to his morals. And that's kind of what I think Zack Snyder was trying to do. And I hope we get to see more of this. And we saw, and this was mostly and by the way, this also inspired like many other books. Like, for one thing, Dark Knight Rises, I already mentioned that because Batman's retired. He comes out of retirement because Gotham needs him. You also have various scenes from Batman Begins. What other books, movies? Dark Knight, yeah, basically the Nolan trilogy. Then you also have the animated movie that's pretty much this, and it's very faithful, very much a faithful adaptation. They have a different individual voice Batman, which I understand they wanted to give him like an older voice, so I guess that makes sense. And it was a very good movie, because what they do is, I can't believe I wasn't using this microphone. What they do, what happens is it gives Bruce, it basically allows him to, it basically communicates to the listener that Bruce is older. Anyway, that's why I like The Dark Knight Returns. I hope you like it too. Apologies on the sound if the sound is a little iffy. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week for some more Comics League videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. All right, see you guys later. Stay heroic. Bye-bye.